Welcome back to the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT. Day 4 continues. We just got down to 16 players with the elimination of Malika Razavi in 17th place. And they have conducted the redraw for the final 2 tables. And these are the 8 players who we have just brought up onto the main stage. The new chip leader, Wei Huang, with a stack of 5.1 million. Manig, Loeser, who's now second in chips with close to 4.4 million. Plus Victor Katzenberger, Sam Greenwood, Rustam Hajayev, Ryan Riess, Nicolas Chouity, the last remaining former EPT champ, and Govert Metaal, who'll be the table short stack with just 14 big blinds. We are halfway through level 24. The blinds are still 15,000, 30,000 with a 30k big blind ante. I am James Hartigan. I'm still joined by Fintan Hand. So Katzenberger limps the button. The blinds are coming along for the ride. 6-3-3.
Riess gonna be absolutely delighted with that flop.
How does he get action though? Everyone checks. Check on the turn. Give Chouity the flush draw.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him bet here. Neither of his opponents have shown much love for the hand so far. He's going to check again though. I'm not sure if Katzenberger wants to bet this wide. Oh boy. You would imagine at this point Ryan Riess is going to want to bet with his strips. Probably won't want to risk it getting checked around once more. And Chouity, you would imagine, is going to want to raise his flush, and this is going to be a super tough spot for Riess to find a fold given their action so far.
Yeah, the action so far, limped pre, everyone checked the flop, everyone checked the turn. Riess now fires 90k into 120k.
I think you can just discount. Definitely pocket jacks, definitely pocket sixes from Riess. He's probably going to bet with a flush draw himself on the turn, so I think I definitely find a raise with 10-4 of diamonds. Maybe if you had a 4-7 of diamonds or a little bit worse, you might call. But it's also a spot where Riess could be getting a little better line, so Chouity could return with a bluff himself. I think we see a raise, and I honestly don't know if Riess is going to be able to get away from this hand given the action like we said.
Well, at least he can't go broke. He's got Chouity covered. Chouity raises all in. Action back on Riess. More than half of his stack to call this shove.
I'd be very impressed if Ryan Riess makes the fold here. It is hard to imagine that your opponent is bluffing too often. Maybe if he had a hand like King Deuce with the King of Diamonds, but even then that might have enough showdown against Riess. Such an insanely tough spot with 16 players left here in the EPT. We know he is a top class player, and maybe he'll just be able to work it out that he doesn't think his opponent has enough bluffs here. Wow, what a fold!
Lets it go, gets away from the trip threes.
Shows him the 4 diamonds.
Manig Loeser with pocket tens, raises from the hijack. Forwarded to Nicolas Chouity in the big blind, who's got 7-3 of spades. He defends. He's the effective stack with 13 bigs behind.
You made a good laydown.
The flop is Jack, Jack 7.
This could be trouble.
Eesh. He is the last remaining former champ in the EPT Monte Carlo main event. He won this very tournament back in 2010.
I think a lot of the time we are going to see it continue with the 10s and a check shove with the 7 trays suited. So often your opponent will have a hand like ace 10, king 10, any of these hands that are just going to bet fold.
He checks. Manig Loeser fires a continuation bet. 85,000. Check raise all in. Snap called by Loeser. And Chouity is at risk with just 9% equity. Is it always coming 7? That's the card he's going to need to see to survive.
The last former champ in the field at risk of exiting before the final table right now.
Ace on the turn, and unless there is a 7 on the river, Nicolas Chouity will be eliminated in 16th place. His 2-time dreams crushed.
Good game, man.
Cash is out for 36,620 euros, and we're down to 15 players as we reach the end of the level.
Check that out.
They asked you to wear the patch for the
So exciting every time, pocket aces.
Why would I wouldn't either.
I think pocket aces, like what is the actual ratio of times when you see pocket aces that you think you're gonna get a full double up?
100%.
And versus the amount of times you actually get a full double up.
Yeah, of course.
27%.
You get a full double up 27% of the time you have aces?
I base this on absolutely nothing, but I definitely feel like I'm gonna get 100% double ups when I get aces.
Yes.
I don't know about our viewers at home, but as soon as I get aces, I'm counting like how many chips I'm definitely going to win.
Absolutely.
Which I think is why it's ever more painful when you lose with them, right? Entitlement.
But I'd say I only get a full double up maybe like 8% of the time. And I get completely felted probably like 23 or 24% of the time. I'm just saying the hype might not be worth it. 3 ways to the flop. 9, 8, deuce, 2 diamonds. So ace is still looking pretty good here 3 ways. Top pair for Katzenberger.
See how Greenwood wants to size this. He has 900,000. If he sizes up, let's say he goes 250, he's still not going to be able to quite get it in without overbetting the turn. So he does start with a check. He is out of position, and it's a board that when you get called in position, he probably wants to do some checking on. It's not very good for him to see bet hands like king, queen, ace, queen multi-way, so he's He's including aces in that range as well.
Well, here we go. Not flush drawn now for Greenwood. Katzenberger, top pair and up and down. Man, the offsuit straight card is coming here way more than 29% of the time.
And I think Greenwood will be a little bit happier checking on the flop because he has the ace of diamonds. There are fewer bad turns for him. Say he has the ace of spades, ace of clubs here, then this is a lot worse than it is right now. I think we're going to see him just make a call. But who am I to second guess Sam Greenwood, one of the top minds in the game?
You are no one to second guess Sam Greenwood or second guess him.
380.
Raises it up to 380. There you go. Looking to play for stacks. Wants to play for everything. Katzenberger has a pretty strong hand here with the pair, the straight draw. And now the 7-high flush draw, which definitely not a complete irrelevance.
I mean, Sam's played this really well to make it look like he's semi-bluffing. I don't know that he would play it quite so fast and so hard if he already had a flush. Katzenberger buys himself some more time. OKid23 on Twitch says, haha, Katzenberger, and then has the easy snack emote. Very nice.
Well, deep into the time bank. Another card being used. Certainly a tough spot. I mean, you have to expect Sam Greenwood to check back the flop and be airballing here. I don't know, something, maybe he doesn't see a hand like King Queen and raises here with 1 diamond or something along those lines. Katzenberger's hands just seemingly has so much equity, even if he is up against aces. Or a similar overpair. He's all in.
He is all in.
And Greenwood's obviously not folding.
Not folding with the overpair and the draw to the nuts. Katzenberger is behind. Not at risk. 29% equity. Ain't that bad, though.
No, and that's the thing. Even against what is a pretty worst-case scenario, you're still close to 30%. Sam Greenwood has the diamonds covered, but needs to fade some 2-pair or straight outs. 5, a 10, a 9, or a 7. 6 is safe.
Not one of the 2 pair outs he needed to fade. So Sam Greenwood does, in fact, get the full double up. The dream.
It's exactly what he'd have anticipated when he saw the aces, Joe, if he's anything like us.
Over to Ryan Riess, ace-jack suited. 18 big blinds to start the hand.
Definitely want to have some hands that just open shove for 18. Let's think about some small pairs, some hands that don't perform particularly well post-flop. But ace-jack suited is a pretty strong hand, so we could definitely have seen this go for the raise and then the call all in. Of course, open shoving it is going to be profitable as well.
Well, Sam Greenwood didn't think much at all, but it is Domination Nation. Ryan Riess set for a double up.
Yeah, 2 hands that's going to play themselves, really, Joe. Nothing you can do with the ace-10 offsuit. Snap call.
Greenwood set to flip-flop. Chip positions with him. Here we go to the flop, which is ace high. 2 cards to come. Ryan's got to dodge one of 3 10s. Turn is a 9. Safe. Scary, but safe.
Still only 3 outs for Greenwood.
One card to come. Home and dry. Ryan Riess, double up.
Yeah, big double up at this stage of the tournament. 1.6 million chips in the middle nearly. Ryan Riess now closing in on the 40 big blind mark. A much more workable stack.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
Versus a very short big blind as well. I believe less than 20 bigs.
Yep.
Fewer than 20 bigs.
Fewer, 17.
You all in, Sam?
Yeah. Easy jam. Easy jam. 100% he jams it.
That's how Sam orders his toast. Easy jam. Just a light dusting. Govert. Anything but 3 deuce, you're doing all right, buddy.
Well, he has been a little bit reluctant to put chips in the middle as well, especially all-in situations, but
Wow.
he's calling here.
All in and calling. Let me guess, it's a flip. Ah, it's a flip.
Good read.
Who do you fancy?
Like Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior, one of these two hands has a slight mathematical advantage. Spraggy, is Ultimate Warrior still alive?
He is sadly no longer with us.
Wow. God, that's brutal. Don't tell me that on air. I didn't know that.
Ace high flop, but not
Really
the
put a
overcards Metaal was looking for. 4.
spade.
No, that's a deuce.
Jeez.
That is
Do
it.
it.
Govert or
Go home.
go home. So Govert Metaal has cashed in 13 EPT main events. Has never made a final table, though.
What a loser. You wouldn't catch me playing the tour for that for many, many years without making a final table. What a huge fish. Has Manig ever made a final table? I wonder if he has. I don't
Boy,
think
you just
so.
really want to work these producers to death, don't you?
Wh-
He just closed the window. He just shut down the Hendon
do
mob,
we-
which you almost single-handedly did yourself
Do we have
with your performance
producers?
on the GPL.
Look at the chip counts. Huang. Wow, Huang's got chunks.
Yeah, Huang's killing the game right now. 14 players remaining after that elimination of Govert Metaal. Just under 5 minutes left on this level. And looks like we're balancing a table. Haven't seen this guy for a while. Bruno Volkmann. Sam frowns Greenwood.
Yeah.
Don't make that stick. Let's not make that stick.
No,
That's-
you want happy people on. You don't want people tuning into PokerStars Live. And why is everyone frowning? Blame Sam Greenwood and Sam Grafton. They started it. No.
That's great for me if frowning becomes like a high-stakes strategy. I'm half the way there. That's my life is frowning.
Spraggy will be back in the 100Ks in no time. Trip queens for Greenwood. Poor Volkmann. Water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Just everything just around you.
We're quoting Coleridge now on PokerStars Live.
I knew that would whet your whistle.
I love it, bro. I love the highbrow references. As well,
Tiny
you're,
bet.
you're always up against these super high rollers and you're thinking, they're outplaying me. Look at them. Should I be calling king high? He's just he's got jack 10 here. He's got jack 9. They're just there, raising it up, flopping the world. Volkmann can see the one club, see a straight.
He's nearly there. Probably okay to call for 40K, right? Or do something that isn't fold. He does raise it up.
Whoops.
See, Sam Greenwood here, deep in thought, you know, going over his strategies. I'm just like, nice, I got trips. I'm going to call, let him bang it off on the turn, get paid.
I do love how there is for every like monkey thought you can have playing poker or cliche, there's a PO solver for it.
Sure.
I can't wait for them to solve deuces never loses.
This might see Volkmann into some trouble, though. He picks up a flush draw. If he fires it in here, he's going to get snapped. Just over a pot size bet left.
This will be the last hand of the level.
There it is. Cool.
All in and snap call.
Still got a chance, though. Needs a club, 6 outs for Volkmann to stay in the tournament.
Preferably not the 8 of clubs. One card to come. Tournament life on the line. 14 players remaining. Not a club.
GG. Wow, not a happy trip to the feature table.
No, sir. Short and not sweet.
And Sam Greenwood has kings again, under the gun +1.
Nice. Almost unfair, I think, when a player as good as Sam Greenwood also gets dealt king-king. Should play it like golf. Once you reach a certain level in poker, once you've played a certain number of high rollers, you're not allowed to get a pair bigger than queens.
So Katzenberger folds the small blind. Ryan Riess has ace-queen in the big blind.
We could see it all fly in here, James. That sounds like an all-in. There's a triangle and a quick call, of course. Ace-queen of Ryan Riess, all in and at risk against Sam Greenwood's king-king.
Just has the one live card, has the one overcard, 30% equity. He is the player at risk. He is behind. Well, we
mentioned
see
him navigating that final table field. He's got to get there first, and he'll need an ace.
Well, we see the trademark ace on the desk. Well, the 3-2 of hearts would be a very sweaty card. Instead, it's the ace on the turn. And Ryan Riess will double up and survive unless Greenwood can spike a 2-outer.
Ace of diamonds.
No king. And Ryan Riess doubles up once again. Riess up to nearly 2.4 million, and that's done a lot of damage to Sam Greenwood. He's left with just 7 bigs.
Yeah, very close to the end for him now, unless he can find a spin-up. That's the brutality of this game. 12 left, get it in good, and all of a sudden, just 7 big blinds in front of you. And from the verge of elimination, Ryan Riess now has a 2.4 million chips.
Yep, he is now an above average stack.
How much did you have before the
Sam Greenwood in the hyper danger zone. Greenwood under the gun. And he's got queens.
What a hand to pick up off 7 big blinds. And it looks like he just called.
Yeah, limps with the queens. Hwang with ace-king. Stand by for the sickest and classicest of all races.
If I'm Sam Greenwood, I'm actually going to be kind of tilted to see ace-king. when you're getting it in for 7 big blinds, you expect your opponent to have, you know, a fairly wide range of hands putting it in against you. To still be flipping when you have queen queen
So
feels a
Huang
little bit off.
has raised to 250k. The blinds are out of here. Greenwood shoves. Snap called by Huang. And here we go. So Greenwood has had kings twice, and on both occasions, there's been an ace on board. Can he fade it one time? So far, so good. 3-1 favorite to double up and survive. Heart's not a factor. 6 cards he does not want to see. No ace, no king. It's the ace! It's Greenstein again! And in back-to-back hands. Sam Greenwood is first crippled and then KO'd. Loses with kings to ace-queen, and then has queens cracked by ace-king. Our 12th place finisher. We're down to 11.
Nasty exit.
Thank you.
Well, let's go to the other table, Spraggy, where it's Tim Adams against Connor Beresford. It's a 3-bet pot. Connor opened, Tim 3-bet to 250k pre. And on a 9-7 deuce flop, Tim is betting 225,000. Connor moves all in. And Tim Adams calls. A pair of 7s for Connor. Queens for Tim Adams. Tim is the at-risk player. He is currently ahead. Pair and a backdoor flush draw for Connor. So Adams needs these queens to hold. It's the 9 of spades on the turn. And the ace of spades on the river. And that is a flush for Tim Adams, which will see him double up through Connor Beresford. Well, that hand happened just a few moments ago. It took Connor Beresford down to 465,000. Tim Adams up to 2.4 million.
Yeah, more bad news for Connor, unfortunately for him.
Well, we're going to come to the table live now because Connor is all in with King 10 against Nicola Grieco's Queen Jack. And it's a Jack 10-4 board, King on the turn, Ace on the river. And Connor Beresford is out in 11th, cashing for just shy of 51k.
Good game. Good luck.
2 pair on the turn, but the straight for Grieco on the river.
Call. Call. All in and call.
Tim Adams has moved all in and been called by Massimo Miceli. Adams with aces, and Miceli backdoored his way into 2 pair. And he's going to double up through Tim Adams. The Italian will now have a stack of 2 million. And Tim Adams will be left with 1.7 million.
Reborn again.
He loves it. Queen 10 under the gun raise from Hajayev. 9s for Huang. On to Ryan Riess, who has 6-3 of clubs in the big blind. He's calling as well. Three-way action, and this is going to be the last hand of the level. And then we'll take the last break of the day.
Fun hand for Ryan Riess to come along for the price. Really dominated, suited.
Oh.
Here we go.
Wine goes from first to worst. Tajayev pairs his queen and has a straight draw. Riess with the club draw. So Tajayev decides to lead, continues into two opponents, gets a fold from Huang, but Riess is sticking around. As Arnold Schwarzenegger famously said, hang around. Pairs a 6 on the turn.
Might just be enough to... I think we might be seeing a river anyway. Hajayev's hand probably can't go for 3 streets of value, so it makes sense to check one back. Maybe he decides to bet the turn, though, and check back some rivers. Still some value potentially to be had from some flush draws. Stubborn jack, maybe not so much. He is going for a bet on the turn. 275,000. The problem for Ryan Riess is he's going to 3-bet pre-flop with jacks, queens, kings, aces, maybe even some king-queens some of the time. But Hajayev can have all of these strong hands that Riess can't, so it's not really a situation where Riess can bluff raise his hand. Hajayev can have 9-10, ace-10, all the sets, all the 2 pairs, the overpair. So Riess can't really bluff into him too often. He does have enough equity to continue, though, with the pair and the flush draw, and he'll make the call. 1.2 million in the middle, 1.4 behind for Hajayev, and Riess makes his flush. Just wonder whether he wants to lead this river to avoid Hajayev checking behind with a hand like ace-king or aces or king-10. Of course, we can see probably check behind a hand like queen-10. Maybe Riess wants to do the betting for him to stop him from pot controlling. I think that's exactly what he's going to do. $340,000, pretty small. But Hajayev gets here with a lot of better hands than queen-10. He can call aces, king-queen, king-jack, 9-10, ace-10. Any flush that he might have, he can raise with. He's plenty of stronger hands. This is fairly low down. In the hands he gets to the river with.
Looks like plays concluded at the other table. And with Hajayev folding, play concludes at the feature table. Still 10 players remaining, 2 tables of 5. Spraggy, thank you so much.
Thank you, James. Pleasure.
I can tell you this happened a short while ago. It's Victor Malinowski all in with kings against the ace-queen of Grieco. And guess what? Always an ace on the desk. And no king on the river. So Limitless is gone in 10th. Victor Malinowski eliminated, and Grieco is our new chip leader with nearly 6 million. 5.9 million chips for the Italian as he KOs Limitless and brings on the redraw. We're down to 9, and the players will now draw for seats around the feature table on the main stage. And the final table of the main event is almost set. Remember, the official final table is 8-handed, and we are down to 9. The redraw has taken place, and the players will soon be taking their new seat assignments. This is the last redraw now. They'll have the same assignments tomorrow. How many players will be returning? How many will we lose, if any, during the final 1 hour and 27 minutes due to be played here on day 4? We do know that the chip leader is Nicola Grieco with close to 6 million. He eliminated Limitless the last hand before the redraw break. We also know that everyone has now locked up 61,620 euros. Make it to 7th, you're guaranteed more than 100K. The winner's going to get more than 827,000 euros. It's James Harskin and Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies. I'm sorry, y'all, but this tournament is now limitless.
We look at the counts of all remaining players. Italy 1 and 9 on the leaderboard. So we've got a few shorties, Joe. Luis Medina, Rustam Hajayev, Massimo Miceli, around the 20 big blind mark. The big stacks are Loeser, Katzenberger, Huang, and Grieco.
I think minimum we come back with tomorrow is 7. I do not think we'll get to 6 in the last 90 minutes of play tonight. Great mix of nationalities here. I love it. Truly is a worldwide affair. Pretty exciting to wake up with ace queen of clubs here.
Yes, especially when you start the hand with just 18 big blinds, and Massimo is all in. Walks into the kings of Ryan Riess.
He didn't really walk into them. He ran head first, I think.
It's like a scene from Takeshi's Castle.
Ryan, I guess maybe wants to keep some
literally,
action in behind him.
I think he literally just licked his lips there for a moment. Nope.
Yeah, so Riess has reshoved, which should isolate. Rounds the blinds. Grieco in the small with Jack-9. Oh, come on.
Oh, he wants a count.
What's happening?
This is just irritating. This is just wasting time. Thank you.
I was going to say misread. He thinks he has jacks. Let's go.
Well, I guess if you want to know a player's exact count, you can get it when they're all in, so...
So Katzenberger folds as well, and here we go. Miceli tables ace-queen, Ryan Riess kings. The Italian is the player at risk, and he is the player who needs to hit. Things have not been going well for kings today. There has always been an ace on the desk.
Come on!
Oh, wow.
And this hand is no exception. Ace high flop. Massimo takes the lead.
Even for Joker stars, this is getting to be too much. Look at Tim Adams.
Oh, we get a sweat card on the turn. Riess could spike a queen on the river to eliminate Massimo.
There's only 3 left.
It is a queen!
Wow.
Sick run out, and finally justice for kings. But a horrible, horrible roller coaster ride for Massimo Miceli, who exits in 9th place, cashing out for 61,620 euros and takes us down to 8. This is now the official EPT Monte Carlo final table, but we will play on.
No more breaks, no more redraws.
I was about to say, how do you feel when you've got an ace on this flop on the final table of an EPT, but I imagine it doesn't feel great when that happens either. Probably doubly so.
Chip leader Nicola Grieco is on the button with 10-9.
Yeah. Would they actually start getting good at like 5 people or something?
200,000.
He's going to raise it to 200,000? Sorry, it's just a slightly large raise.
I do like raising slightly larger these days because of people's propensity to call in the big blind, but this is more than slightly large. This is more than 3x. I do think that when you more than 3 exit with a not so great hand, it's a little obvious. Nobody's 3.5 Xing it with aces on the button.
Yeah, quite right.
So Katzenberger has called out of the small with king 10 of diamonds. Manig Loeser with ace deuce of clubs in the big.
He's out of position with a hand that he probably would defend versus a more standard size open, but I wonder if he gets away from it because it's significantly larger. But with a player involved as well, there's additional value, there's an additional dead money.
Yeah, he's getting some really fantastic pot odds right now.
Yeah, quite right.
So Loeser calls as well. 3-way to the flop, which is 6-4 deuce.
A little bit of nothing for everyone.
Just a little more nothing for Loeser.
Had the best hand pre, has the best hand post.
Checks around to Grieco is going to have a real hard time repping anything on this board, especially with the huge pre-flop raise.
Nicola continues into 2 opponents.
He don't care.
275,000 fold from Katzenberger.
Are we going to see a 6th Street bluff here?
Loeser calls, and we're going heads up to the turn. Which is the 8 of clubs. So the gut shot now for Grieco, and Loeser has improved to the nut flush draw to go with his pair of deuces. He's an 87% favorite here.
Good luck getting ace deuce of clubs to fold now.
Loeser checks a second time.
Whoa, how did we miss that? 500,000 bet and call. It happened in the blink of an eye.
Jack on the river.
Ooh, tough spot for 9-10 here. After putting in 2 barrels, you got to feel pretty bad about putting in a 3rd one here.
And this pot is huge, 2.2 million. So Manig has checked for the 3rd street, and here it comes. He's going to empty the clip. Raised big pre. Continued the flop, fired the turn. Now remember, those black chips are worth 100K each. The greens are the 25Ks.
I just have a feeling this story is not super convincing.
I mean, this is a bet of 1.2 million, more than half pot.
It's a huge bet, but that pre-flop raise.
I think you might be bluffing.
Oh, goodness.
Hear that?
No?
He says no.
He says no.
Well, because maybe otherwise you can't win the hand. As in, if you check your ace king, you probably can't win, right?
I mean, I wonder if his...
I think you might have ace king.
No.
I wonder if his speech here might betray him. He said no so quickly.
Yeah.
No, you're bluffing.
Manig Loeser is a really strong player who makes some really strong reads.
I think Joe's impression just then was pretty much spot on what I heard.
Oh, he looks so uncomfortable.
Oh, he really doesn't like it. He's breathing heavy now. Oh, I think he... I mean, what a big call.
He hasn't made the call yet.
I almost feel like you can sort of get a read off somebody from throwing in the time bank card, too.
Yeah. I think those are time bank cards. Well invested, though.
Every time he reaches for chips, I'd be jumping out of my chair right now.
Going to get 5 more time bank cards tomorrow.
I mean, this bet is so polarizing, right? I mean, it's going to be 2 pair plus or it's going to be air.
It's just a classic case of why so serious. How are you going to have 2 pair plus here when you raise that big pre-flop?
Exactly.
Oh, man, it works.
His instincts were right.
And he shows it.
It's good, base queen. Nothing.
Wow.
0.
Big torture. Big torture.
Big. His queen is not good. I don't have enough.
Manig Loeser.
I before now because later television.
He was onto him. He was right. Didn't go with his gut, didn't go with his read, and Nicola Grieco increases his chip lead up to 7.16 million, nearly 120 big blinds.
The quintuple barrel bluff gets through.
That's poker, my friend.
And the rub down. He gets the rub down as well. Gets told that's poker, my friend.
You should probably, you know, tell Manig Loeser what poker is.
Pocket queens for Tim Adams. I guess we're going to see action. Raised to 140,000. Round to the chip leader, Queen Deuce.
He is really enjoying this. Everybody taking a little extra time with their decisions, and understandable if you're going to make a move with 7-5 suited after Tim Adams raises under the gun.
Katzenberger calling from the cutoff with 7-5 of hearts. By the way, now we're down to 8. Everyone's locked up 78 grand. Make it into the top 7 and you've locked up more than 100K.
Now, I'm pretty new at this commentary thing, but 7-5 calling there seems kind of weird to me.
20 more.
I'm just wondering if he has a read on the table in general. I mean, there's a lot of ICM pressure here. There's a lot of money up top. I wonder if he thinks by flatting with 7-5 here, he's just going to see a lot more flops. They are somewhat on the deeper side. And the deeper you are, the more value these sort of suited connector hands have. Or gap suited connectors, I should say.
Hell of a flop for cracking queens. They're 50-50 at this point.
Yeah, I've seen worse flops for 7-5 of hearts.
Flops.
What the heck?
It's a very Pacific flop. Queen's check.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
So Katzenberger's going to take over the betting.
I mean, presumably the check here is more to do with pot control than to do with trap. When you've got 2 black queens on an all-red flop, you've got to assume you're going to get a lot of action from the draws, more frequently at least than not.
A bet of 160,000 from Katzenberger.
How does Katzenberger know to call pre-flop? Such a weird random move. Just flops a huge amount of draws.
Tim Adams buying himself some time. He's the effective stack here, by the way, with fewer than 30 bigs behind.
By the way, it took me years to know what effective means. It just means the shorter stack.
Correct.
James has got to say it all English and hoity-toity. Say it dumb for the rest of us. Yeah, there's the raise we were expecting.
So Tim has check raised. Made it 585,000. And this check raise is pretty committing.
I feel like there's a lot of reasons if you're Katzenberger to put the rest of your chips in here, or the rest of Tim's chips in.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, this is such an unusual line to take with an overpair. You got to feel like you might even just about have some fold equity to go along with your ginormous draw.
Yeah, but then also, like, if you make your draw on the turn, it could be an action killer as well.
Yep, absolutely. He goes for the flat, though. And the heart fills the turn.
Wow.
I think if this is your line with queens, though, I mean, the deuce of hearts is a bad card, but
Tim's got less than pot behind.
if you got less than pot, I don't see how it doesn't just go in on the turn, assuming that you're going to have some 10x there.
Timmy checks.
And with a pot, less than a pot size bet here, when you've got the 7 high flush, I think you just got to protect your hand and get the rest in.
Yeah, you don't want to make your flush again.
You don't want to make 2 flushes with a 7 with the 7 of hearts.
Interesting theory from Alisher on Twitter. It says Katzenberger didn't see that Adams had raised, thought he was open raising 7-5 of hearts.
Oh, we missed that part.
I'm not saying that that is what happened, but
1 million behind.
it's an interesting theory.
I mean, it's not to say that checking is a bad play necessarily. I mean, you trap ridiculously hard if you can fade river, and you're going to fade river more often than not. And by fade river, I mean fade heart. All in call? Oh no, he's facing the all in. Okay. Oh.
And he has called, and he is out.
Yeah, that's about the right reaction.
Tim Adams was drawing dead on the turn. No river card could help him, and we've lost our 8th place finisher.
Yeah, hold on.
He didn't see the raise. He put the reason he called. So because he put some chips in, he called.
Okay.
He got the monster flop. It was a mistake.
How unlucky for Tim Adams.
Oh, wow.
Wow, very unlucky.
I mean, Joe, you did question the flat on the button with
Yeah.
the
That's
7-5,
right.
and
Yep.
clearly it was the intention of raising the button with those suited
Well,
one
no, it was
gappers.
cut off. It wasn't even the button.
Of course, a late position raise nonetheless,
Sure.
but actually ends up calling, hits an amazing flop, gets there on the turn, and busts Tim Adams. Shortest stack at the table. Ace 10. 7-handed. 15 bigs. He's all in.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, folded the king 10, was waiting for one better, and he got it.
Gets through Grieco and Katzenberger. Queens for Manig Loeser.
950. Thank you.
Loeser counting out the call.
It's bigger than it seems, huh?
It's a third of his stack.
I've never taken this long a call in my life.
All in.
A reshove from Loeser. Fold from Medina and from Riess. Huang gives up the big blind. Here we go. Hajayev at risk and behind.
Oh, this is a big hand.
All in and call. Oh. Oh.
Who brought their motorcycle in here?
Someone
Sorry
else.
about that, guys.
Someone else.
I'm actually gonna mute my mic just for a minute.
Oh, I think it was him.
I guess he had the lamb curry for dinner as well.
Ace 10 in dire shape here.
Deuce of hearts.
Oh, Hajayev picks up additional outs. An ace or a 5 on the river will save him.
Loeser doesn't even have to look.
The river card is a 6, queen's hold, and we lose Ristam Hajayev in 7th place. And somehow we have got down to 6 today.
6 players.
And that will conclude day 4. Hajayev cashes for 109,510 euros. The 6 remaining players will come back tomorrow to play down to a champion.
Goodbye, Hajayev. Hello, final 6.
And Manig Loeser ends the day up over 4 million, 66 big blinds. So these are the stacks of the final 6. 2 players with more than 100 bigs. Huang with 94, Loeser with 66, Riess with just shy of 60. Luis Medina bringing up the rear. But right now, from Nick Walsh, Finton Hand, Benjamin Spragg, Joe Stapleton and me, James Hartigan, it's good night from Monte Carlo. Join us tomorrow for the final table.